Shalom, brothers. First and foremost, we give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem U.S.A. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, the great millstone who rule well, and salutations to all ye Akim on the highways and byways that's noising this gospel abroad on the four corners of the earth and to the ears of the elect. I have here a video. Brother, the channel I got this video off of is called GMS News a Month. Alright, that's GMS News a Month. Brother puts out some edifying shows on his channel. So I just recently watched a video he put out, and the title is, it should be U.S. is moving on Iran 2018, the year of prophecy. Okay, so when I was watching this video, man, what caught me is the hypocrisy of these people. Alright, one thing the Lord U.S.A. hated was hypocrisy, man. These people are hypocrites, man. Alright, everything that this lady spit out concerning Iran could be used to combat herself, man. Alright, so the whole video she's dealing with a two-edged sword and she's trying to cut somebody else, but she's cutting herself. So I'm gonna read one scripture, and then with no further ado, we're gonna get into this clip. And this is maybe Lord's will, this will be the only scripture that I read, because the rest of it is just, I just want to bring out information and skim through some articles just to prove that these people are hypocrites, man. Matthew chapter 7 verse 1. Judge not that ye be judged, ye be not judged. For what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thy own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thy own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam in thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly and cast out the mote that's in thy brother's eye. Alright, so starting back at the top, it says, judge not that ye be not judged. Alright, so don't judge the things that you could be judged off of. Alright, so if you smoke cigarettes, don't tell nobody else not to smoke cigarettes because you smoke cigarettes. You have no credibility on that specific topic. Alright, verse 2 says, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. Of course, again, so if you smoke cigarettes, you're going to be judged for smoking cigarettes. And what measure ye meet, ye shall be measured again. And why beholdest thou the mote in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thy own eye? So what are you talking about? How you going to try to stop your brother from smoking if you smoking? Why would you do such a thing? Or would I say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote of thy eye, and behold, a beam is in thy own eye? You going to say, you going to help him stop smoking cigarettes, and you still smoking cigarettes? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out thy own eye, then thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. So stop smoking cigarettes, right? Get you a patch, nicotine patch, or whatever the case may be. Stop smoking cigarettes, and then now you could go to your brother and say, look, brother, I did it, you can do it. I don't smoke no more, I stopped smoking, smoking is bad, and I'm going to help you stop smoking. That's the right thing to do. Right? So you got to clean out your own household before you can worry about your neighbor's household. Clean out your own backyard before you can worry about your neighbor's backyard. This is a simple principle thing. Alright? So let's get into this video.
And Happy New Year to all of the members of the Security Council and the General.
That's a lie, because it's not even a New Year's. Alright? It's not even a New Year's. New Year starts in April, not in the middle of a season. That's another topic for another lesson. It's just, these people are just found to be liars, man. Everything that comes out of their mouth is hypocrisy or a lie, or both.
General Assembly. In the past week, what has happened on the ground throughout the nation of Iran is something the world must take note of. It is a spontaneous expression of fundamental human rights.
In the past week, so these Iranians, right? They begin to protest, and now the UN Security Council needs to get up in arms, right, and do something about this. Unbelievable. But Jake been protesting for 60 years. Not to say that we here at Great Millstone we condone, we deal, or we support this Black Lives Matter movement, because we don't. And then again, that's another topic for another show, discussion for another show. But to drive home the point, Jake been protesting for years.
The Iranian people are rising up in over 79 locations throughout the country. It is a powerful exhibition of brave people who have become so fed up with their oppressive government that they're willing to risk their lives in protest.
Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable. Mind you, they're talking about the Iranians. It goes to show you, right, that when you read Psalms, the 83rd chapter, right, and all those people that got together, right, at the UN, nobody stands up for Jake at the UN meetings, man. Ain't nobody talking about Black Lives Matter at these UN meetings. Nobody. Not one nation. Not one nation. Not one person has ever gotten up to condemn GAD, or the so-called black men in America, or you so-called Hispanics around the world. Nobody has risen up. Let one little thing happen over across seas to one of these heathens, everybody's up in arms. Right? Everybody's up in arms, but for Jake, never.
The world should applaud their courage. The voices of the Iranian people should be heard. We have debated the proper role of human rights in the Security Council. Some of our colleagues believe that human rights have no place here. They believe human rights and fundamental freedoms are the business only of the governments that control them. The United States does not share that belief.
Human rights.
Human rights are not
and oppressive governments, huh? Unbelievable.
They are the inalienable right of the people themselves. Freedom and human dignity cannot be separated from peace and security.
They was screaming this when we were in chains, man. They were screaming human rights and the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and freedom for all when we were in chains, man. Unbelievable, these people.
Of the people are denied. The people rightly resist. If the concerns are not acknowledged, then peace and security are inevitably.
We've been resisting for 400 years, man, and the concerns have not been met. You have not let us go. You have not bringing us back to our homeland. You have not restored what you've stolen from us.
Threatened. We have seen that repeatedly throughout human history. The case of Syria provides a horrible recent testament to this fact. And what is happening in the towns and cities across Iran right now bears out this fundamental truth. The Iranian regime's contempt for the rights of its people has been widely documented for many years. The people of Iran have finally had enough, and they are showing it by taking to the streets. The Iranian people understand the nature of their regime. They understand that their lack of voice in their government has allowed the regime to ignore them, and it has allowed the regime to spread conflict and instability far and wide. If you listen to the slogans they chant in the street, this understanding comes through loud and clear. The United Nations reports that the Iranian regime spends at least $6 billion every year propping up the murderous Assad regime in Syria. The people of Iran know this, and so they are telling the government, quote, "Let go of Syria, think of us."
So she just said, as you heard, that the people in Iran are chanting, "Let go of Syria and think of us." And she threw out some numbers on what does the Iranian government spend in Syria. Thou hypocrite. Here we have here MSNBC U.S. training program is costing about $500 million. U.S. spends $500 million in Syria, trains 4 out of 5 fighters. The nerve of this lady, right? And Trump just won an election off of the platform America First. So the average so-called white man wants the government to stay from overseas fighting these endless stupid wars and concentrate on America. So the same sentiment that she's saying that the Iranians are using is the same argument that's being held over here in America, and that's being ignored. That's being ignored. The average peon American citizen wants the government to focus on America, infrastructure, jobs, the economy, training programs, rather than spend millions and millions of their tax-paying dollars into Syria, a nation that has absolutely nothing to do with us. Them, I should say.
The Iranian regime spends millions on militias in Iraq each year. It gives millions more each year to the Houthi rebels in Yemen.
You see what she's talking about? So latest U.S. arms sales to Saudi Arabia raises eyebrows about IS war. Right? U.S. arms deal to Saudi Arabia raises questions over the role of weapons firms in the U.S.-led anti-Islamic State campaign. The U.S. on Wednesday announced a new arms export contract to the sale of missiles worth $1.75 billion to Saudi Arabia. What the hell is this lady talking about? What the hell is this lady talking about?
The regime spends millions on militias in Iraq each year. It gives millions more each year to the Houthi rebels in Yemen, including sending them ballistic missiles to fire at other countries.
This is just the Saudi Arabia. We're not talking about the U.S.A. or the them training ISIS, right? Or them training the Taliban. Right? We're not even gonna talk about Blackwater. Right? Come on, let's go.
Meanwhile, the average Iranian family is 15% poorer today than it was 10 years ago.
So she said the average Iranian family is 15% poorer than it was 15 years ago. So we're not gonna talk about the sanctions that the reason why they're poor. We're just going to say that they're poor. But we're not going to say that we put sanctions on them, right? But we're not even going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about what's going on here, because it shows our hypocrisy, right? The scriptures say, get the mote out thy own eye, and then you could get the mote out your brother's eye. So if this lady really cares for the Iranians and she really wants to help out the Iranians, first she got to help out the people in her own country. That's what the scriptures say. Here's a chart. Here's a chart, right? And right here you can see medium household income remains stagnant. And matter of fact, let's go back to 2000, 18 years ago. She said 15 years ago. Since 2000, right? You can see down here, you can see the median income going down. Right? It went up, but she said 15 years ago, so since 2005, it's just been going down. Here's 2009, 2012, 2013. It's just been going down. So she's a hypocrite to talk about what's going on over there. Look at what's going on over here. Let's go. Everything's gonna be combated.
To the Iranian people demand, think of us.
Yeah, so is the American people.
The regime gives low interest loans to the elite and well-connected. It rewards construction contracts to corrupt Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
What? What? Here we go. Fed's backdoor bailout provides $3.3 trillion in loans to banks, corporations. What is this lady talking about?
Construction contracts to corrupt Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps affiliated firms. They construct buildings that skimp on safety. Thousands of these buildings collapse during an earthquake.
Ooh, thousands of buildings collapse during earthquakes. No shit, you stupid bitch. And this is the shit that these people eat up. The average Homer Simpson, Duff beer drinking, Joe fucking six pack, they watch this and say, "Oh my God, it's horrible." Like these are the people at the top, man. These are the people at the top. These are your nobles, man. These are your Ivy League educated people. This is what rules over you. This is what has power over you, man. These people are beasts. They are liars. They are look at this lady. She is demonic as hell. She is possessed with all kind of demons, man. Literally every word that comes out her mouth is a lie, and it's hypocrisy. She is a hypocrite. Speaking for a hypocritical nation, man.
Hundreds died. And the Iranian people chant, "Think of us." Today the people of Iran are speaking to their government, and their message is undeniable. Stop the support for terrorism. Stop giving billions of our money to killers and dictators. Stop taking our wealth and spending it on foreign fighters and proxy wars.
And the American government isn't, the American people aren't saying the same thing concerning the American government. Stop spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on these wars, right, for these so-called Jewish gutter rats.
Think of us. Freedom-loving nations worldwide have spread support for the cause of the Iranian people. Canada,
Edomites,
the United Kingdom,
Edomites,
Israel,
Edomites,
France,
Edomites,
Sweden, the European Union.
Edomites.
We honor and appreciate all of these statements of support for universal human rights. But we must do more. The Iranian regime is cutting off internet access in an attempt to shut down communication among the protesters.
Oh, really? Cutting off internet access? How cruel. Right? What nation on the planet would do? Oh, wait a minute. What we got here? Donald Trump signs bill repealing internet privacy rule. Look at old Donald, huh? Old Donald want to eat your brains, the goddamn zombie, huh? Donald Trump to sign bill rolling back internet privacy? Come on. Come on, this lady, you people are fucking hypocrites.
They are attempting to silence the voice of the Iranian people. We cannot allow that to happen. Every UN member state is sovereign, but member states cannot use sovereignty as a shield when they categorically deny their people human rights and fundamental freedoms. I call on all of my colleagues to join me in amplifying the message of the Iranian people. And I call on the government of Iran to stop censoring the voice of the people and to restore the access to the internet. Because in the end, the Iranian people will determine their own destiny. And let there be no doubt whatsoever, the United States stands unapologetically with those in Iran who seek freedom for themselves, prosperity for their families, and dignity for their nation. We will not be quiet. No dishonest attempt to call the protesters puppets of foreign powers will change that.
She said no dishonest attempt to call the protesters puppet of foreign powers. Christian radio host. NFL protests are a communist plot orchestrated by Obama to destroy America. Right. So when Jake protests, right, it's a communist plot. But what she just said was they're not going to allow the Iranians
for their families and dignity for their nation. We will not be quiet. No dishonest attempt to call the protesters puppets of foreign powers will change that. The Iranian people know the truth, and we know the truth. They are acting of their own will, on their own behalf, for their own future.
Yeah, right.
Nothing will stop Americans from standing in solidarity with them. In 2009, the world stood by passively while the hopes of the Iranian people were crushed by their government. In 2018, we will not be silent. Once again, the people of Iran are rising up. They are asking for something that no government can legitimately deny them: their human rights and fundamental freedoms. They are calling out, "Think of us." If the founding principles of this institution mean anything, we will not only hear their cry, we will finally answer it. The Iranian regime is now on notice. The world will be watching what you do. Thank you.
Alright, so this is Psalms chapter 83 verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one cassette. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and of Ishmael, and of Moab, and the Hagarenes, right? Gebel, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre. So this is the United Nations, man. This is the United Nations all gaining up together. That's why you so-called Negroes and you so-called Hispanics, right, and the children of Gad, so-called Native American Indians. That's why you don't have a seat at the UN. Alright, because it's about you. It's about the children of the Most High. That's why you don't have a seat. That's why you don't have nobody to stand up for you and declare the things that we say. Declare the things that we just said. Just how that lady got up, right, in the UN and talked about the so-called the oppression, the Iranians being oppressed, their voices being silent, the internet being fucked with, right, the human rights being denied, right, an oppressive government. Just like how she got up and sat, she got up there and she stated those things. We don't have representation to say the exact same things. And not only do we don't have, forget about what we say, but we don't have no power for actual action to take place, man. Ain't no F-15 coming in here to bomb the hell out of America according to their power for the oppression and what goes on here. For Jake being gunned down in the streets, for God having his land taken, for being enslaved. Right, for the so-called Mexicans having their land taken and being called aliens inside their own land. Ain't nobody doing that. We can't go to no carnal council or no carnal government or no man to deliver us. That's why salvation is for Israel. That's why salvation is for the nation of Israel. Because we need it. These other nations don't need salvation. They're in their kingdom. We need salvation. Shalom.